Hello everyone, this is Christian Mel at Exciton Interactive, and in this video we are going to add in a settings menu. So our little friendly cog button up here at the top right will have something to do. So if you click on it, we will toggle a animation that will bring in or send out the settings menu. The menu right now will just contain a single link that if you click on it, we will go to the About page. At the same time that the About page is animating in, the settings menu will animate out, just as if we do the toggling. At the end of this, we'll also just make a small change to what we do, or the way we handle routing, so that if you're on the page already that you're routing to, then nothing will happen. So I'm on the About page. If I click About, nothing will happen. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started here. So the first thing that we're going to do is to create a new file here. So inside of our app bar folder here, we're going to create a new file. We're going to call that the app bar settings.vue. Alright, close that. So now we create a page here. Go ahead and set up something to begin with here. So we can call it a settings-container. I want the container because, well, let's finish making this thing. App bar settings. I want the container because I want to have this button up here, and I want the settings menu that we're going to animate in and out. We're going to have it positioned relative to that, or in this case, the container, which is basically just holding that button. So let's add that button. So let's just steal it from over here. So it's in our appbar.vue. I'm going to come over. Now it's over here. And what we're going to want, like I said, is some animatable item to come in here. So speaking of which, animatable item, and I'm going to give it a class of settings. Let's create or actually add the stuff that we need. So we need to view bind, and we need to pass in a subject for it. We're going to create here in a minute. We also want an anchor tag in there, so we're going to move that about anchor into here. So on click prevent, so that's equal navigate to about. Let's give it about for the tag. All right, so that takes care of it, the template for us. So in the script here, we're going to need inject. We are going to need to import a few things here. So let's import from and then slash components slash animations. What we want is our animatable item and animation subject. While we're in an importing mood, we're just going to also bring in a couple other things from routing. And from there, we're going to need routes or enum and the routing service. So we're using that component in our templates. We need to register that animatable item up there so it doesn't complain at us. So we'll have a, inject please, private read only, and this is the routing service, which will be provided for us of type routing service. Create the private read only subject, which is our new animation subject. Last but not least, our method, so private navigate to about. So in there, we just need this dot routing service dot navigate to. Where do we want to go? About. So we have a basic script done here, and before we finish some things up here, I guess if we saved it, we could see stuff going on. Where's that about hiding at? Haven't added it to the template. So let's just carry on with the stick with what you know. All right. So we're going to bring in a couple of imports. As I mentioned before, may not be relevant for you. It just holds some styles and functions and things I've used. So now we have what we want is the .settings container. And we, like I said, we're going to make that position relative. We need so if we go back to the app bar, since our button was hanging out in here, we also had some styling going on between our back button and that cog. We're going to steal a copy of that. While we're over here, let's just erase that. Come back. Cog is back. Perfect. So now we need our settings. And that include, let's add that we want the position to be absolute. It's going to be, the top of it is going to be at the bottom of the container, so 100%. We're going to have it off to the right of the screen, so 0 there. Don't care about bottom and left. We're going to say the background color is just a variable that we have stored. So viewport background color, which in our case is just white anyway. And what I want is this thing is going to contain, like I said, that anchor that we have in there. So let's just do child anchor. Actually, it should be just all anchors, but let's just make it as specific as possible there. Make them block. That include padding, 1 rem for the padding. Almost did my semicolon there. We'll save that. Probably looks perfect. Everything's working just fine, I'm sure. But we can't tell yet because we need to add it to our view over there. So let's just come back to our app bar, add in our settings. We are, of course, going to need to import it. So import from @/components/ app bar / the app bar settings.view. We're just calling it settings. And we know the drill. Add it to our component definition. So now if we save it, we get an error popping up. Mismatched bracket. Probably did this thing before, probably did it again. I did. Why is my anchor trying to be attributes of my animatable item? Who knows? Just wants to stay there. Save it. So we have our about button hanging out up here. It's actually so if we look, so much space needed. So there's our button and animatable item, which is the settings there, right there. Okay, so that's working correctly. And while I'm at it, since we're going to have this app bar live above everything, seems everything's fine. That's the way it is. But anyway, we're just going to z-index just in case for later on. Who knows? Save that. So now we'll go back to the, put that in the wrong spot. I want that on the app bar, which is right here. Now back to the app bar settings. Let's make our button, our cog button up there, do something. So where's our button? It's right here. So we want v-on click, do prevent, and I just called it toggle. We're going to need something else from our import here, animation types. Now we'll come down here and make our toggle, private toggle. If we're going to toggle, we need something to toggle. In this case, is visible equals false to start with. So we'll just switch on this dot is visible. Of course, we have two cases, case true and case false. So if you're true, what we'll do is say this dot subject dot next and animation types, and we will translate out to the right. So we're on the right hand side of the screen. If you're visible, move it out, and we'll say this dot is visible, it's false. Come down here, this dot is visible, it's true. This dot subject dot next, animation types, and in from the right. So we're saying that we're going to start off not visible. So we're going to achieve not visible by just coming down here and saying transform. We will translate X direction 100%. Save it. See that is visible. Why you did not translate out my settings? Because you don't know what you're doing. Now they're gone. So if I hit the button, they come in, hit the button, they go out. That works good. Now, next up, we're going to change is that, so we're just animating the thing out. So you can see by our horizontal scroll bar, we can get over here to our settings. They exist. So what we're going to do, and the second thing is that our link, our anchor tag, we don't have our pointer automatically transforming, our cursor is not going to pointer because there's no href. We could just say, hey, this anchor or anchors in general should be, have a cursor of pointer. It's fine, except for the fact that without the href also, if we tab, then the about link is not in the tab order, or you can't tab to it. So let's come up here and fix two birds with one stone. So href, we're just going to make it a local one, a void. I'm not going to make a ID a void anytime soon. And okay, what does that do? Oh yeah, another thing I was going to do is say that animatable item here, and in addition to it, we are going to say v-if, or not if, it's show for us, show and is visible. So let's save that. So now we don't have a horizontal scroll bar, and if we click on here, our cursor goes to the pointer, and it might be hard to tell, but now, well, you may be able to see that. I can tab to that link now. So we do have a problem, or a couple of things. I guess the first thing I'm going to solve is that, so if I'm on the home page, I click the link, I would like for the settings menu to close, right? So if I'm over here, settings menu, close. All right, so let's take care of that. And we're going to do that by importing from animation. We have the animation subject options. What we'll do is come down here and private read only animation options close. That's what I called it. Animation subject options. Inside of there, we'll set the complete thing or property to a method that we have not created yet. So I guess the first thing that we're going to do is make it be happy with that. So let's just make that close. So private, so closed. So after the animation is run, it's closed. Now we say this dot is visible equals false. Okay, so we're going to have a couple of ways to getting or needing to close, right? navigations, and toggling, right? So there's at least two ways that we want to be able to access the ability to close our menu. So let's just create a new method over here. So private close. We're going to say if this dot is visible, if it's equal to false, so it's not open to begin with, just return. And this dot subject, actually let's just pull, so we're closing, so it's visible, so we want this one up here, so that's good. And let's just change this to this dot close, and we're good to go then, right? So if we close and, oops, almost forgot it again. So if we close, we want closed past tense to run. So we need to pass in our this dot animation options there. So then the closed method will run once the animation is done. And we might as well stick with the pattern here. Let's do private open. So open is going to deal with this stuff here. Let's do the same thing. So if this dot is visible, then just return. We don't need to open something that's already opened. We're going to make it, we're going to say is visible. Now I'm a little hesitant, doesn't seem to be a problem, but I'm a little hesitant to say just make this to be true and then go into the animation, because this thing, you know, we're using this to remove it from the DOM to begin with. So what I'm going to hedge my bets with is saying request animation frame. So give me, so on the next animation frame, we will do the animation. And then of course we need this dot open in our toggle menu. We're almost there. We're not going to be notified yet that a navigation has taken place, so we need to take care of that. So private created, so when we create the component, this dot routing service, and of course we have our navigate stream on here, so we'll just subscribe to that and we will just run this dot close. So we save that. Cross our fingers that everything should work. So we're on the home page, toggles open, click the about, we go to about, it closes. Next thing up, and I thought that I had already taken care of this previously, but you can see that the buttons at the bottom are jumping up and down. They're jumping up and down because the horizontal scroll bar is being shown. So when the settings menu is all the way out, it's not in the DOM, so the scroll bar isn't there. But just before it starts animating in, we add it back in and animate in. So at that point, it's off screen, and so you get the horizontal scroll bar. Fix that by going to the app.vue file under our app here, and we're just going to say overflow hidden. Save that. Refresh just for good measure. And now, if you toggle the menu, you see the buttons aren't jumping up and down because the horizontal scroll bar is not being shown. Perfect. So now if I'm on the home screen, I hit about, we go there, it closes, great. If I open it up and I hit about here, you see that this is an about page text. You can see it, maybe, maybe not, but it fades in and fades out. That's because we are defaulting to, if we're transitioning to a page that's not sort of in our hierarchy, then we just default to a fade out, fade in animation right now. And this is happening because we allow navigation to the page that we're already on, right? And I think I want to prevent that from happening. So what I'm going to do is come into so inside the routing folder, we have the route entry object, or class. And what I'm going to do inside of here is, one, to stick with what I usually do. So in just a typical, TypeScript class, not inside of a Vue file. Definitely use the binding of this method and syntax there. Just to stick with my notes here. Of course, now I've changed it from the previous notes probably, but you know, that's in the past. We'll forget all about it. So what we'll do is create a new method is same route. And what I'm going to do is pass to it a route, which is one of the enum entries, so that it can tell me, so return this dot route equals route. So is it the same route? Save that over to our routing service. So inside the routing service, we have the navigate to method right here. So all we need to do is add to this. So if this dot current dot is same route as 2, then we just return. Save that. And so we're on the about page. Open this up, click the link, nothing happens. I think that's probably a standard thing, right? We could click the link and animate out, but I think it's pretty standard to not do anything if you're already there. You could, I guess we could put a link at the bottom for close. Maybe we'll do it. You could do it, who knows. But I think it's good. So if we go back to the home page, so everything's working. So in this video, we've basically taken care of adding in an animated settings menu here, which will allow us to go to our about page, which frees up our little button, which is in the main navigations. More use. It's a higher value real estate than having the about down there. But we're going to, I think, take care of that in the next video. I think we'll probably add another view and actually start doing something completely different and start doing some work with Vuex. But until then, I will talk to you later. Thank you for taking the time to watch our video. I know that your time is valuable. If you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel and click the thumbs up button, as well as share the video with your friends. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please leave them in the comments section below. And once again, thank you, and I will talk to you in the next video.